Vai. Buongiorno a tutti, good morning everybody. I started to speak in Italian, but I switch in a while in English because this event is organized with our colleagues, part of the Cities Coalition for Digital Rights. Grazie per la partecipazione e quindi diamo il via a questo evento molto importante. Eccolo qua, che parla di how are European cities leading the human rights based digital transformation. This is an important event for us because you can understand that when we are talking about digital citizen or citizen at all, we are talking about Europe, we are talking about international citizen. You know that when we talk about internet, there is no limits, let's say, and we are a global organization with citizens that are part of this process in terms of digital rights, digital transformation, that it's, I mean, part of our life. No matter if we are in Milano or if we are in Barcelona or if we are in other cities, we are on the same ship, as we used to say. And so let me introduce me just a little bit. My name is Laila Pavone. I'm the coordinator of the Innovation Technology and Digital Transformation Board for the Milano municipality. We are in the stage of Milano Digital Week, which is the most important event in Milano. Is a week totally dedicated to digital, considering digital in the different aspects, considering digital, of course, talking about a citizen and the human being at the center of every kind of process in terms of innovation, digital transformation, and so on. For us, it's important because this event that is made by the citizen, by companies, by association, with a bottom-up process, because we started in July with a call for proposal, and we received more than 400 proposals. And so this digital week is made by more than 400 events all over the city, talking about all, I mean, the topics that of course, touch every kind of topic of digital transformation and innovation technology, of course. So my honor is to host the Cities Coalition of Digital Rights. Just a few words because my colleagues will be much more prepared than me. Was launched by the cities of Amsterdam, Barcelona, and New York in November 2018, and now with a membership of over 50 cities worldwide. And Milan, of course, is more than happy to be part of the coalition. It's a network of cities helping each other in the green field of digital rights based on policy making. The coalition is committed to promoting and defending digital rights in urban context through city action. We are going to see which kind of action to resolve common digital challenges and works towards a legal, ethical, and operation frameworks to advance human rights in digital environments. This is a very short presentation, But again, I'm very pleased to introduce my colleagues, starting from Milou Jansen, which is coordinator of Cities Coalition of Digital Rights in Amsterdam and lead the digital rights policy and strategy of the city of Amsterdam. Sophie Woodville, which is has an important role in Bordeaux, digital policy officer in France. Marc Perez Battle, which is the innovation manager at Barcelona City Council, and Metodyika Tarlyovska, which is the senior legal advisor in Sofia municipality. So thank you very much to my colleagues to be part of this panel of these events, because it's important also to share what you are doing in your city and talking about something more. And this is something that I will ask to Milou Jansen to talk about the meaning of every keyword, let's say, of the Cities Coalition for Digital Rights. Milou, can you explain us much better than I can do, of course, what are digital rights, the meaning of the coalition, why we need to have a digital coalition with cities talking about digital rights. So the stage is yours, Milou, and thank you very much again to be part of this roundtable.
Thanks a lot. I think you already gave quite a good introduction of a summary of what the coalition does. I'm very happy to be here today, and also to be able to count on Milano as a member from the first hour. Since 2018, Milano has been a part of our coalition, and we're very happy with that. And so also happy to be part of your digital week in Milano, and so great to hear that there are more than 400 events taking place all over the city. Yeah, so like you said, the coalition was founded in 2018, primarily because we saw that the discussions about digitalization in cities was still very focused on the technology and on the process-oriented discussions. And we thought it would be very important to, yeah, like you also mentioned, focus on people and on citizens, what works for citizens, what kind of city do we want to be, and what kind of values are a part of that. So that's when we started raising more awareness and advocacy around 5 principles that the coalition is founded on. So these principles touch upon digital inclusion, meaning to have access and equal treatment in digital technologies, but also participation, the right to participate in decision making, non-discrimination of data and algorithms, ownership of data, open infrastructure. So all aspects that are usually talked about quite in separate silos. And we thought it was important to bring them all together and to actually highlight that these are important parts of our human rights-based approach to digital technologies, and having a human focus when we implement technologies in our cities. So yeah, since then, what did we do? And how do we work together? I would like to speak a bit about that as well. We work in 3 different tiers, you could say, 3 different work streams. We have one focus more on global advocacy and awareness. So actually having sessions like this all over Europe to speak about what are human rights issues related to digital technologies and how do you tackle them, because the answers are also not always clear. Every now and then you run into new challenges, and you really need your community to also address them. So very happy to hear that you have such an active community also in Milano, where you can count on to tackle these challenges together. Second tier is very important aspect that we are city-led, and that we also really support city-to-city learning and city-to-city exchange and collaboration. You could say that a few years ago we focused primarily on the exchange of best practices, the exchange of challenges, but since then we also started quite some projects together. So an example would be the Applied Digital Rights initiative, where we collaborated with different academia across Europe to address specific challenges that our city members had. And another one is the Citizens' Voices for Digital Rights projects, of which Milano was also a participant, where we focused on also training citizens in their advocacy on digital rights, geared towards the European Commission. And then finally, also local support. So also making sure that the local strategies of our members have a human rights component and that they support the values that I just mentioned, focused on inclusion, participation, equality. And for that, we recently, or tomorrow, we will launch a guide for human rights-based digitalization in cities, which I think is an important milestone for us because it quite summarizes the lessons that we have learned in the past 5 years. And with that, there's also a help desk where we can help cities to build their capacities locally on these topics. For example, focus on procurement or how to build an AI registry, those kind of aspects. And then I would like to leave it at that, and we can go to the important stories and examples of the other city leaders that are present here today, because I know they will also have a lot of interesting things to tell you.
Thank you very much. Two more questions for you, Milou. Who is financing this very important organism? Is it part of the European Union?
So actually, like if I say that the coalition is city-led, I really mean that. Like also in terms of financing, it's basically funded with in-kind contributions from different cities. And the projects that we do sometimes have a funding component. So the help desk and the guide now are based on funding from open society foundations. But we also imagine applying for funding together with a couple of cities within our coalition, indeed more focused on the European Commission. So if there's a good idea, we try to get the funding together, and so far we exceed.
Okay, and the second one is, can you underline why do human rights need to be put at the forefront? Because this probably is the most important things that we as a citizen need to understand more, let's say.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind now, if you ask me this question, is actually the topic of diversity. I think what is so beautiful about our cities is that they are diverse. The people that live in our cities, the lives that I live there are also quite diverse. But you also see that digitalization has certain consequences for life in this city. So we each live more and more a bit in our own filter bubbles, like in our own worlds that are driven by different technologies and different digital social media platforms, and it's very easy to order this or that, or so it becomes more and more easy not to be so connected. But what actually makes a city is to focus on what binds us, which is dignity, equality, being there for each other. So I think that's an important thing that human rights can highlight. And on the second part of that point of diversity is that digital technologies in general are quite generic. So it's quite a generic platform that has to serve a lot of diverse people in the same way. And what we tend to see now is that certain algorithms or certain platforms are optimized for like the average group of inhabitants, but that means that always the same people kind of fall out of the picture. So the groups in our cities that actually need more support will gain less from our city services if we just optimize always for the general generic average, in your case Italian citizen or Milano citizen. And I think human rights can really highlight that aspect of diversity and making sure that democracy is still working also in the digital age.
Thank you so much. this very, very important presentation about, this coalition. What are we doing to enlarge? I mean, we are 50 cities, am I right? Are we doing something, in terms of promotion or campaign to engage other cities? I'm thinking also Italy. Because we have a lot of, let me say, big and small cities that could be part of the coalition.
Yeah, I think so. By now we are around 56 cities. So like little by little every year,
Yeah.
we still have cities joining. But we do a couple of things. Also, speaking a lot in events like this to create awareness locally. So I really hope that more Italian cities indeed are watching and willing to join the coalition. I would also like to stress that sometimes I see mid-sized cities thinking like, oh, it's a lot of capitals there, or we're not advanced enough yet. But the coalition is really an open ecosystem for cities that are just starting their journey or halfway or already a bit more advanced. So indeed, really the welcoming message to join. I think we have a good group of informal steady connections where you can learn a lot. We also work together with our 3 partner organizations. So we are supported by Eurocities, UCLG, and so United Cities Local Governments and UN Habitat, which have a more global focus. And that's something that we also hope will bring more diversity. So now our member base is primarily EU focused, US focused. But I think we could benefit a lot from also working together with more cities in Latin America or in Asia to see, okay, how do all these human rights concepts play out locally? So if you would like to get a bit more information on how to join, just visit the website, and we're very open to always grow in numbers and in ambition.
Yes, there is a website very rich and full of information about the coalition and how to be part, of course, of the coalition. Thank you very much, Milou, for this precious introduction. And now we have on the stage the fantastic city of Bordeaux. That we know for this wonderful activity of a winery. Am I right, Sophie? But we are here to talk about digital and, of course, the important activity that the city of Bordeaux is doing. Can you talk about something more about the digital inclusion topic, because it's really important. Talking about also here in Milano, inclusion is, of course, one of the most important keywords talking about digital citizens. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you. Thank you, Laila, for having me, and thank you and congratulations on a successful Milano Digital Week. And I'm hoping that you will have a lot of people listening to that program. I'm going to try to make it as interesting as wine, right? because obviously that's what really sparks something for all of you. So I work with Bordeaux Métropole, which is the greater area of, there's the city of Bordeaux, but we are a group of 28 cities here and a population of about 900,000 citizens, just to give you an image. So as Milou was saying, we are, of course, members of the Coalition of Cities for Digital Rights, and we're not like the major capital of France, but we are a mid-size, large-size metropolis in France. So anyone can join the coalition, absolutely, depending on, and we actually need, I think, a variety of scales and of types of cities to make it rich and to make all these conversations really vibrant, I would say. I will talk a little bit more about digital inclusion, which will be our focus this morning. Of course, within the digital and IT department where I work at the Bordeaux Métropole, we address all kinds of issues related to digital. But this morning we will talk about digital inclusion. I'm not going to get into what we do in Bordeaux that much. I mean, like boots on the ground, working on digital inclusion. We have a dedicated team that works for the 28 cities, Bordeaux Métropole. We have a variety of services that we provide, and we have a very active team that works every day with boots on the ground to address these issues. But this morning, the idea was for me to tell you a little bit more about a project that we are working on. That it's actually a statement that we wrote with the city of Murcia in Spain and with Eurocities, and that we are also working through CC4DR because the coalition is a sponsor of this project that we want to build. We want to build it more at a European level because at this point it seems like it makes sense as well for European cities to work together on that issue, though it is, of course, a very international issue. But I think we have to remember, and this is just a short introduction, then I'll get into really what the statement is about, but we have to also realize that the city of Bordeaux, Métropole, and Milano, and all of these cities, for example, who are part of the coalition, are very fortunate because we have the resources, we have the time to meet and to share, to maintain a link between us, to build new and exciting projects, to think about the future of our cities from a digital point of view. We have time, we have energy to draft proposals, to agree on commitments, sometimes to travel or to take part in conferences remotely, such as what we're doing this morning. And we're able to do that because our cities have developed a culture around this topic, around the topic of digital and digital inclusion, to get back to that topic. And why do we do that? And why do we have that culture? It's because our mayors, our institutions show interest in the matter, and our citizens pay attention. And it's not actually the case for every city in Europe or in the world. A lot of cities have no or very little knowledge on the topic, don't necessarily know how to address them. And it's absolutely not a judgment. It's just that with the privilege of having some resources put on that, and having the ability to think about it and to work about it, with the privilege comes responsibility. And this is actually the introduction and the basis of the proposal that we at Bordeaux Métropole with the city of Murcia, and we have other cities who have already joined us. The project is exactly that. It's to work together as a community of cities which can put some effort for the larger community out there, because at the end of the day, it's for all of the citizens in Europe who are left out of the digital era, pretty much. It's a project to address the issue of digital divide at a European level, because we all aspire to a cohesive digital Europe where all the communities, everyone is able to enjoy the benefits of digital transformation. No one is left behind. Everybody becomes digital savvy, knows how to access or to use all of those equipments. But the truth is that the digital divide is preventing us from achieving that digital transformation. It's true in normal times, and it's even worse now in a period of global crisis that we are going through currently. And that's why we've written that statement, because most cities need I'm sorry here. Most cities need incentive and opportunities to start their own agenda. You need to learn from others. You need to receive a kickstart funding before you can even start thinking about developing a project or developing a framework on the topic of digital divide. And that's what we want to do, is to build a task force of cities to advocate toward the European Commission for a framework of cooperation on the topic of digital divide. Because we need to be able to target specific fundings to get additional resources, to be able to deploy programs and projects on these topics through calls for projects. Ideally, that's the goal. And the first two projects that we have outlined, I will probably go more into the first one, but we've outlined two, and there are probably so many more that need to be developed. But the first one is the funding of local city observatories on the digital divide. So that first, it might seem very basic, but actually cities need to understand how the digital divide is taking shape among their population in order to address it. Because how do you tackle a problem if you don't know what actually the problem is? It's the symptom and the medicine, pretty much. When you go to your doctors, you have to tell them what's going on. But analyzing the digital divide, even at a local level, it's a project that requires expertise, time, money, and a lot of cities don't even think of it because they lack the means, the guidance, the know-how to do it. And that is typically a project that we believe and we hope can be supported at a European level. Like having a framework for analysis, a shareable tool that every city can take to create their own observatory. A lot of cities have actually started working on their observatory. So the city of Barcelona, for example, us in Bordeaux Métropole, but it's of course wonderful. And the idea is not to come and replace all that. It's to use all of that knowledge and then to create a framework that would be common, because this way you can also compare, you can also progress more easily if you have a common basis. And then, of course, every territory is very specific, has its specificities. So you have to be able to, to adapt to each cities. But typically, this is something that we believe it can be funded by Europe, and that's what we really want to do. A second one, but I won't go too much into it. It's really around another issue. It's about the training of our social workers, and because it's basically a new job. It's a hybrid between social workers who have all of the soft skills to address people every day and help them. And then you also need to have the basic knowledge of digital technology. And so we really think that it's the boots on the ground. It's people who do every day tremendous work, but the training of the trainers is not yet adapted just because it's new. So that's totally normal. And the same thing, we believe that a European skill grid, maybe a training description, could be also a European project and could help definitely cities tackle the digital divide, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. It's really address that issue so that all citizens in our cities, and we are at the front line, basically, get to be to not be digitally left behind, pretty much. So very concretely and in a nutshell, the project is creation of a task force to work on pilot projects. So for the digital divide observatories at a European level, with a few cities, and then the idea is to provide all these projects at a large scale and give the opportunity to all of the cities in Europe to access the framework for observatory and funding, of course, as well, because that's also one of our goals.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sophie. Just a question for you, to try to compare maybe France and Italy and other country. Do you see differences between, the digital cultural divide in Paris or in Bordeaux or in a city in the Côte d'Azur? Just to say, there is differences in your, because in Italy we see that there are cities that are leading the process of digital transformation. Also, small cities, maybe in the middle of Italy. So there is not a really different between north and south. There is something different because there are leaders and followers. What does happen in France?
So there's two sides of the question. There's the way that cities address it, and there's how the digital divide works or exists in various places in France. So for the first topic, we have, I think it's the same thing. At the end of the day, it's about people as well. So if you have people who are very driven by the topic, you can be in a tiny city or you can be in a very large city. If people want to work on that topic and address it, you will have people active, so projects, and so then it kind of goes that way. So we do have very active cities in France who are leaders and who are not necessarily the biggest cities. And to answer on another topic, which is more how is the digital divide, how does it exist and who does it concern? It's exactly the topic of the observatories. And we are strong believers that we have some predefined, preconceived ideas about who the digital divide concerns. We think about seniors, we think about people with disabilities, people who are perhaps looking for jobs. But the truth is that we are all in a digital gap of some kind. And that sometimes we don't think about the 20-year-old because they are good at posting videos on TikTok. But some of these 20-ish years old people, kids, would not even be able to start filling their taxes or filing their taxes or trying to look for a job, and everything is through digital tools, and they don't necessarily have the know-how. They know how to post videos, they are social media savvy, but then that's not all of digital. And so that's why we really feel that having observatories is a major first step towards bridging that digital divide, because you cannot tackle a problem if you don't actually define the problem and really go do a deep dive of who you need to help.
Totally agree. Absolutely. So thank you again, Sophie Woodville. Thank you so much for this very interesting insights. And now our journey goes in Spain and in Barcelona, and we have we are lucky because we have the innovation manager and Barcelona City Council, Marc Perez Batle, and Barcelona is a city that is doing a lot of project and is leading, let me say, the digital transformation process, being also a benchmark, to be honest. So I'm very curious to learn something more about the artificial intelligence strategy. So artificial intelligence is something very, it's a delicate topic because the privacy is something that could be, something related to diversity, to the democracy of the algorithm, let me say. And so, Marc, it's up to you to talk about also a project. The name of this project, if I'm right, is Connected Barcelona, and is totally aimed about schools, which is another important, environment where digital coalition should work, because teenagers, kids are our future. So it's important, to be focused on also the school and what is the role of school, talking about digital transformation. Marc, the stage is yours, and thank you very much again.
Thank you, Leila. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. It's a pleasure always to participate in the Milano Digital Week. And yeah, so let me start just to link with Sophie and make a journey more or less continuous to talk about Connecting Barcelona, and also the Digital Democratic Project, which is something more related with the schools, as you said. So Connecting Barcelona is our flagship project related with digital inclusion. It's in fact a pilot project in order to try to bridge digital divide in one of the most impacted neighborhoods in Barcelona related with digital divide. So as Sophie was saying, it's really important to have observatories, to have also tools in order to measure and to quantify which is the impact of digital divide in cities. Basically because we have limited budget to do so. So it's really important to make the exact actions to the exact people in order to ensure that we are efficient and we are also tackling the whole situation. So we started with a survey in 2020. Yeah, 2020. We started with a survey related with digital inclusion. So we asked the whole population of the city about which were the digital skills and and infrastructure, which is also important. So do you have internet at home or not? Do you have digital devices beyond the mobile phone, beyond the smartphone? Because if you don't have these digital devices, maybe you cannot, use internet beyond social media, beyond the social networks. So yeah, you are not going to create a curriculum vitae using a mobile phone. This is something that it's not this way. So we started to ask this. So the results were really interesting. We have 4% of the population here in Barcelona without access to internet for economical reasons. That seems maybe not that much, but if you translate it to households, we are talking about 10,000 to 10,000 to 20,000 households that they don't have internet at home for economical reasons. So that's too much. So we saw also that there was a big correlation between the socioeconomic situation of neighborhoods with digital inclusion and with the digital divide. So we started to think on what we can actionate with the collaboration with the private sector for sure in order to make a project that can tackle this digital divide in these 3 dimensions. So basically connectivity, also providing digital devices of quality, and for sure digital skills, basically. Digital skills thoughts not on courses, digital courses or whatever, is basically putting expert people on so in the intersection of social workers and digital workers. So there's an intersection there that it's important to have these people on the neighborhood, not not in the center, not in one specific infrastructure that you have in the city center. No. Go to the neighborhood with these people to where the citizens of this neighborhood are typically used to go. So I don't know, in basically schools, basically all this infrastructure that you have in the neighborhood, and make this digital inclusion work there. Okay, this is something that works better rather than concentrate all this expertise in a single point in the city. So we have closed the project just 1 week ago. We are now working with the report, with the final report. So yeah, we are happy to share with you when this is coming to be public. And but I can just advance that the project has been for sure a success, and people really were thinking on why the hell this is a pilot project that it's not a service in the city. So while we are working on that, we are working on the all the lessons learned from the project to let's say make a new step towards universal digital inclusion service to the city. So this is from Connect-M. Then I will also want to talk about artificial intelligence. That yeah, it's a really hot topic. I prefer to go a little bit beyond artificial intelligence to say how algorithms are impacting in our day-to-day lives, and which is the relationship between public services and also public space, which is the other hot topic that we have. So yes, public, starting from the final public space, and how many algorithms are being deployed in public space from private sector, for example, just to gather information that maybe people are not aware from that, and also how the public administrations are using algorithms, artificial intelligence or expert systems, so algorithms in general, in order to improve public services, and which is the trade-off between this increase of efficiency and the preservation of digital rights or preservation of human rights in general. So yeah, we started to take a look on the state of the art, and for sure to make our AI strategy that wants to boost digitalization, wants to boost digital transformation for sure, wants to boost the usage of artificial intelligence for public services, but with some ethical perspective there in order to preserve common principles that are really important to take into account. You said cybersecurity, but also robustness, transparency. So all these kind of values, we need to ensure that they are taken into account. So we started with a protocol. So, or internal organization of the house. I think it's really important because typically technology, IT is provided. So every area of the city, so of the city council, I'm saying. They construct and they build the IT infrastructure with silos, data. So it's important to ensure that ethics and all these, let's say, safeguards that we are going to implement are just including every service, every IT service that it's covering the city council. So we started to work with our IT department, which is centralizing this IT constructions and IT softwares. So we developed this protocol, which first of all, it's really aligned with the AI Act. So basically, what it's doing is just making a first selection on the risk. So it's a risk-based approach also. So why you are developing this system? For what? Are you just impacting on some human rights or digital rights? So trying to infer which is the level of risk of your system, and then depending on this level of risk, you are going to, or you are mandated as a city council department to implement some safeguards if the risk is high. So, for example, I don't know, maybe you want as an area to implement a scoring for people that it wants to work on wants to find work. So you're implementing some kind of a scoring to see the level of employability that can have this worker, this potential worker. well, this is something that sounds good, but scoring, depending on who is going to look the score, it may be a little bit problematic. So we assess, no? So the protocol, ensures you that you are making the right questions in order to ensure that you are implementing a good IT system, taking into account all these safeguards. Safeguards, we are talking about algorithmic impact assessments. We are talking about audits. We are talking about all this stuff. Transparency. We are talking about algorithm registers. So all these, let's say, pieces, put it in place, taking into account that we are implementing a public service. So I prefer to just end here. Just if you have questions, or that we can then continue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very, very interesting. Really interesting, just because, I mean, probably people are not aware right now about the influence and the opportunity and the risk of the use of artificial intelligence, which is something, I mean, fantastic in terms of technology, but the important thing is how we use artificial intelligence and moreover, how we communicate and make understand to our citizen the sense, let me say, the motivation, the reason why we are going to use artificial intelligence, let me say, when necessary, because probably is not, always necessary to use artificial intelligence. So it's something that is really, really delicate, but something that we cannot avoid. Is something that is necessary, for the competition, for, to grow, as a country and as a social, as a civilization, let me say. So thank you very much, Marc, for this very interesting topics about Barcelona. And then our journey goes in Sofia with Metodyika Tarlyovska, which is the senior legal advisor of Sofia municipality. I know that Sophia has some slides, and Sophia, if you don't mind, I can click slides that you prepared. Just say next, and I'm at your disposal. Thank you so much, Metodyika, again, to be on the stage with us in the Milano Digital Week.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As Laila said, my name is Metodyika Tarlyovska, and I'm part of Sofia municipality team. And we are part of this project the same as you. And we decided to share with you some of our questions and problems, if I may say so, and some difficulties which we already have. Can you change the slide, please? And next one. Our department is Digital Innovation and Economic Development. We are a little bit new in this area because our department is working only 2 years, but these 2 years were very important for us because we started a new design, we started a new politics, and we started to explain to the citizens what the digital world means for them, for us, for the administration. Next slide, please. I want to share with you that probably most of you know, but just in case, our town is the capital of Bulgaria, and we have about 2 million people, citizens, so you can understand what huge responsibility is for us to explain to all of these people what digital transformation means, what digital rights are, how they can understand that, because probably you have experience too with so many people who are talking about the digital right, but there is no one clear definition, and there are not so many examples who can give a better knowledge to the citizens. What is this about? Why it's important for me? How can I understand how I can protect myself? And this is our responsible to give them good advice or explaining or examples how they can protect themselves in this new world, because the digitalization is really important, and it's everywhere, in every administrative level, or just in every area from our life. Next slide, please. And that's why we decided to be part of this project, because here we have opportunity to see what the other towns and cities and countries decide to do in this direction, because we are small country and we don't have so much abilities and experience in this direction, but we are learning too fast from the others. And we are really grateful that the team from this project is helping us with this new adventure, because we are trying to find better way to reach the people, to explain them, because we want to give more awareness and more information about it. And here we will have this support and these ideas and this knowledge how to do it and to use the better way for that. Next slide, please. Our focus is to give more information about the people, what the process is, what the service in this digital world are. And we wanted to give them more opportunity to communicating with us, to tell us what's important for them, where they have some difficulties, where they need to find more information or examples, and how they will be more confident to use digital levels, digital options or digital services, how they can be more prepared to use them, because we are trying to use more digital services in different levels. But if the people don't know how to use them and what does it mean to use digital services and what are their digital rights, there is no sense to have digital services, because probably they will be too scared to use them. Next slide, please. And as you can see, we have different challenges, and here with the team and the help from Milou, Paula, and the rest of the team, we focus them in different groups. So you can see we need some tools to reach the people, and we need the best way to give them opportunity to understand what digital rights are, why they are important. That means that we have to have not only new tools, but we have to structure the information so that they will understand what we are saying. Because if we have some words which are very strict, very administrative, or very specific, a few people will find out what digital rights are, and the other will stay with questions, with fear, and they won't be able to be part of this conversation. But our conversation is to involve them more in this process. Next slide, please. As I said, we had our first step. As you can see, we have digital transformation strategy. We have the creation of citizens, part of them who are working with digital transformation in different projects. And we have vision for Sofia. All of these documents, they're including digital rights, digital process, and what our idea for the end, for the results are. But they will stay there only on this document, staying there like some words or or sentences which are not very clear for all the people, and they will be one good idea, but without good results. That's why we are part of the process and we are part of the project, because we are going to win the battle with this not so good information and awareness. And I believe that at the end we will have this tool and we will reach most of the people, and we can give them more information, but better information, what digital rights are. Next slide, please. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. If you have some questions, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Metodyika. With this slide, very interesting, and this slide again will be available for everybody with some, also contact ask something more, if possible, from the innovative Sophia. So thank you very much. And again, this, is part of the contribution of our beautiful Milano. So first of all, I want to invite you to be part physically of the next Milano Digital Week. Will be, of course, in 2023. But let me underline some activities that we did in these last days, presenting, as you did in your country, in your city, some interesting, information, because I think that as we share several times, communication, education, information, promotion about the meaning of digital citizen, it's the most important things that we should do, to engage and to make understand to all citizens what, the opportunity of the digital transformation and technology innovation. So we organize, considering the 400 events, we organize as municipality more than 15 events, talking about all the projects and the activity that the municipality is developing, talking about, open data. We have a very interesting platform for open data with more than 1,700 data set available for citizen and enterprise and company. But we started to present with the mayor last Tuesday the manifesto for the innovation technology and the digital transformation for an inclusive and sustainable Milano. I'm sorry, it's in Italian. Try to translate the most important, keywords. And this manifesto, based on 5, principles, is dedicated to how Milano, and not only Milano, the city, the coalition, is totally, and we are totally aligned to the principle of the coalition, talking about, first of all, that innovation is a necessary condition to grow and compete, and digital transformation is something that we need to take as a very important and interesting opportunity. Second, pervasive and collaborative innovation is something related to contamination, is something to collaborate with private, so public and private partnership, association, universities, is something that should work together with the paradigm of open innovation. Because we are an ecosystem, and one of these principles, the second one, is totally based on the need of collaboration. We need to collaborate. We need to work together. The third one is inclusion. We talk about in this last 50 minutes about inclusion, the importance of inclusion for all citizens, with the goal to remove the digital cultural divides, because maybe it's something more related to culture than technology. So digital divide is something that we live in every part of the world. Let me say, it's not only a matter of Milano, it's a matter of Europe and of course our planet, let me say. The fourth is related to sustainability, because sustainability means that we need to be responsible, we need to respect the citizen rights, And also we need to generate a positive impact. Innovation, technology, and digital transformation must generate positive impact social and environment. And the fifth is related again to communication, to participation, to the to the promotion, but considering every time always transparency and ethic, which is something very, very important to communicate, but to be transparent and ethic. This is one of the things we organize. The other thing, very, very shortly, is again, we organize a project totally based with participation of citizens in order to have to organize a research with citizen of course, with the champion of Milano citizen, to understand much better what does it mean wellness and security, talking about digital in school and family. Think about, the use of a smartphone in the hand of kids and teenagers with all the, problems, all the issues, and the fact that there isn't something that could be, share everywhere. In Milano, we are living a situation where we are for example, some schools that prepare and share an ethical code for the use of a smartphone in the school. In other school, there is no rules, anything about, so we are trying to organize in 1 year, and we are going to present in the 23 Milano Digital Week the results of this participative project with citizen, trying to create all together with all the stakeholders, the association, the school, companies, all the stakeholders of the city that want to participate. First of all, a collective discussion about, the use of digital devices and in particular smartphone, with, a lot of meeting in the city during this year, understanding, the needs and what we could do together, because we need to have a manifesto, let me say, or something, similar that could be shared by all the citizens, all the cities. The other one of the other project is related again to technology, to the urban digital ecosystem, which means that we are developing the Milano digital twins. That means again something related to citizen, to the GDPR, with the use of IoT devices, with the use of artificial intelligence. So something that is really, really related to, the human rights and the rule of citizen. So just to give you an idea of what we are doing in Milano and presenting in this, Milano Digital Week, that I think could be something interesting for everybody, just because we are trying, to share as possible as we can all the information, and of course other projects are related to education, to information, to be in all the different municipality. In Milano we have 9 different municipality, and we want to go physically in this municipality to meet people physically, and physically organize classroom where we can share and educate and alphabetize, let me say, in some cases, considering different targets, senior or people that have some disability, as we said before, in order to be really on the same page, because to remove this kind of digital divide, probably we should use also the physical, presence, even if we talk about digital, So again, we are, in time, because we spend together 1 hour, and I hope that this 1 hour together could be useful for everybody. I remember that this event in streaming is available in the next days, weeks, and months on demand, so with the possibility to see again or to forward this event to some friends or colleagues. Let me thanks again Milou, Marc, Sophie, and Metodyika, because your contribute was so precious, so important for us, and again we are very proud to be part of the coalition. Cities Coalition for Digital Rights, because it's something really, really important, because we need to grow together. We need to develop the digital transformation together, because first of all, we are in Europe, and then, it's not only a matter of Europe, it's a matter to be worldwide responsible citizen, and trying to take all the opportunity, and considering also the risk of innovation technology and the digital transformation, in order to considering that ethics is something that is fundamental for the growth of digital everywhere. So thank you very much. Milou, Marc, Sophie, Metodyika. We have a website. Milou, do you want to remember us the name of the website to reach and to know more to have more information about the coalition?
Milou had to leave.
Sorry.
She had to go catch her flight.
Okay.
And I think Paola just put I think somebody put the link there. So it's
Okay,
Cities for
perfect.
Digital Divides.org.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Again, let me thank also Paola, which wasn't on the stage, but Paola Boet Serrano is an important person that is driving and coordinating the coalition, and also helped me to organize this very interesting event. So thank you very much, and hope to see you soon, and hope to see you soon physically in our Milano Digital Week 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.